Hey there guys, what's up? It's me, Kimberly J, coming to all of you today, and my camera is really adjusting for me. Let me fix that. So, okay. This is part 2 of my Q&A video, and I know I I did part 1 back, I think it was on June 4th, so it's been long overdue for me to do this video. But yeah. So I'm taking a drink here. Yeah. Okay. So the questions I'm answering today were submitted to me by the two Michigan sisters. You may remember them. They sent me a what used to be called a Kimmy mail one time, twice. They sent twice, two separate gift packages, and they're just awesome. I love them so much. So, heart to you, two Michigan sisters. And the questions that I've learned the hard way. The questions they send, you really have to think about. You can't just give a pat answer and move on. You really have to think about the questions they send you. They're very thought provoking. So I took the time to read through them and really think about my answers. And then I typed the answers in so I wouldn't forget what they were. So, because with my memory loss, I can forget my answers at any moment. So I just don't want to take that chance. So I have the questions here on my computer, and we're going to start. First question is, what is one of the scariest things you have ever done? There are several things I can mention here that were scary to go through or to deal with. But I would have to say that in all honesty, being real with you guys, the scariest thing I ever did was divorcing my husband, my ex-husband, because I knew that I didn't stand much of a chance of surviving without him, because I knew I was unable to hold down a regular job. With my fibro, there are days when I feel great, and there are days when I can't even move without crying out from pain. And so I knew I would not be able to hold down a regular job. Thus, I would not be able to support myself. Now, by the time we divorced, I did have disability. I was granted full disability, and so I did have that money coming in. But I knew I was getting about $500 a month back then, and I knew most apartments here started at $450 per month rent and went up from there. So I was convinced there was no way in the world that I'd be able to live without his income. I wouldn't be able to buy food. I wouldn't be able to pay for my own medications. I wouldn't be able to live on my own at all. So when you have one person who you rely on for medications, for food, for anything, and all of a sudden that support is gone, it's terrifying. And that's the scariest thing I've ever done. Let's see, next question is, if you were to write a book, what would you name it, and what would it be about? Now, this one I thought about for a long time. I thought, okay, what would I name this? I honestly cannot right now come up with a name. I thought of some, but none of them really seemed to fit right. So honestly, two Michigan sisters, I do not know what the book will be named. But it would be about my life, my true life story, what I've gone through, what I've experienced. That's what the book will be about. So, next question. Oops, I went too far. Sorry. What accomplishment are you the most proud of? There are several answers I could have put here. But the one I'm choosing to put here is being able to live on my own. which I thought was going to be impossible. Like I said in the previous question, not having that support from my man who's now my ex-husband, I was sure I'd be homeless within a week. I was pretty sure I'd live in a homeless shelter and would have to, survive there. I was convinced of that because there was no option for someone like me because I can't even afford rent. And so I think what I'm most proud of is not only being able to live on my own, but when I first moved in here, you're in an apartment. You hear, creaking sounds and stuff, and people stomping around upstairs, and you hear noises at all hours of the night, and that scared me so bad. So badly. I was really having a hard time with that. First month I lived here, I was like, what was that? What was that? But then you realize there's just people moving around upstairs, and so you kind of get used to the noise, and it's kind of tune it out. I didn't think I'd be able to pay rent. I didn't think I'd be able to buy food, medications, anything. And so, just by being able to live here on my own, in my own place, pay my own rent, pay my own internet, buy my own groceries, pay my own bills, that's the accomplishment that I'm most proud of. So the next question is really, really good questions. These questions will make you think. Okay. You sure I'm not skipping ahead. Okay, I'm not. If you could be an animal, what would you be and why? And there's, again, several choices I could have, chosen here, but I chose to go with a bird. For obvious reasons, it would be a bird that is not allowed to be shot and killed or, I would want to be a protected bird that that can't be shot at or killed. I want to be a bird because I have always had a fear of flying, like on an airplane, because I have a major fear of heights. When you're driving on the street and you crash, the only place to fall is on the ground. So, but when you're 35,000 feet in the air in a plane and it fails or whatever, there's a long fall down. That's quick. All of a sudden, bam, you're dead. So I'm terrified of flying. I'm terrified of heights. I'm terrified of falling. So I would like to decide to fly without fear. To just be able to spread my wings and just fly. Just fly through the air and not have that feeling in my stomach like I'm going to be sick and not be afraid and terrified and gripping, the armrest and just be like, oh my gosh, I'm so scared, I'm so scared. I want to know what it's like to fly without fear. That's my answer to that. That's the animal I would be and why. What is your most prized possession? Again, I could have put anything in here. And actually, she said, what is your most prized possessions? Oh, that's not singular, not plural. I'm sorry. My mistake. That's possession, singular. Which is interesting, so my answer is a plural. My most prized possession, I would have to say, would be my mother's diaries. She loved to write for what happened in her, because every day was always different. She'd be babysitting, or she'd be working on the house doing dishes and things, or she'd be visiting one of her sisters, or one of her brothers, or she always had something different happening every single day. And so she told me, even before she got sick with cancer, that she wanted me to have the diaries. She wanted me to have them. So right now, they've spent most of, since I, divorced my ex-husband and moved out, they have been residing in a shed in my dad's backyard. It's a loft shed. And I want to get them out of that shed and put them someplace. I can't put them here, there's too many of them. But I want to find a place to put them, maybe in my dad's house, or just some place where they could be admired and read and looked at and that kind of thing. Let's see, moving on here. If you could get back any piece of clothing from when you were younger, what would it be? Okay, the piece of clothing that I would use for this question, I try to have a really good picture of it, but I don't have one. I thought I did, but I don't have a good picture of it. But when my parents and I went to Hawaii for the first time, I think we were in Maui, for the very first time, it was in 1987. My brother had moved there a year or two prior, and we were visiting him, and they bought my ticket and everything, and we went. Of course, I was terrified of flying, so I was like, the whole time. Once we're up in the air, I'm fine. And once we're on the ground, I'm fine. It's in between the two that's the problem for me. But we were shopping at this one store in Hawaii, and at first my eyes were just drawn to the shirt. And it was so cute. It was like the softest material you've ever felt in my life. It's a regular like t-shirt, and it was pink. It was like a soft baby pink, and it had the word cuddle arched across the top like that. And below the word cuddle were two gray and white kittens there. It wasn't like a photo. It was like a drawing or painting type thing. But it was that shirt was so comfortable to wear. It was soft. It was amazing. And I loved that shirt. And of course, I haven't had it for years now, but I tried to find a photo of that shirt to show you, but I don't have one, unfortunately. So that's my favorite piece of clothing that I had. I bought it in 1980. My mom bought it for me in 1987, and I wore it for many, many years. And it's just one of my favorite shirts ever. So, let's see. Next question. Okay, this is a tough one. If you could have any actress to portray you in a movie, who would you choose? Well, first of all, I want to say, if I was going to have an actor portray me in a movie, it would be a movie based off the book about my life. I would want to have a movie made based on the book about my life story. And I thought, okay, what actress do I want to play this role? And I would want an actress that seems down to earth, because even though she's portraying a role, I want her real life, who she really is, to be kind of a normal person as much as possible. And a lot of celebrities aren't that way. But the one name that kept coming up over and over again in my thoughts was the one person that I chose to play me in a movie about my life. It would, and I'm not saying I know her personally or I know how she really is, but from what I've seen of her, I just think she's amazing, and she's one I picked. It would be Reese Witherspoon. I fell in love with her in Legally Blonde. I haven't seen Legally Blonde 2 yet, but I've seen Legally Blonde, and she's just amazing in that, and I just adore her. So Reese Witherspoon would portray me in the movie about my life, which would be based on my book, which I'll never write. So, there you go, there's the answer for that. Do you have any nicknames? If so, what are they? I really don't have any nicknames. I have nicknames based off my name. Like my brother would call me Burr or Burley, because my name is Kimberly. But that's about it. I don't really have any nicknames. Let's see. From what country did your ancestors come? I don't know. My aunt has done extensive genealogy ancestry research on my dad's side of the family, and my cousin Gary has done extensive ancestry genealogy research on my mom's side of the family. But neither of them have ever told me if we come from a different country or wherever, I honestly can't answer that question. So, let's see, next one. If you could eat only one thing over and over for the rest of your life, what would it be? And this one, again, several answers, several things I came up with. I would have to say nothing. There's not one food that I love enough that I could eat it over and over for every meal, for every snack, every dessert for the rest of my life. There's just not one. Because even the ones that I love the most, like I could just see myself eating them for every meal, forever. So eventually after 4 or 5 years, maybe even 1 month, it'll grow old. So I can't really answer that question. There isn't one food I love enough to have that for every single meal, every single day, for weeks and months and years. There's nothing I like that much that I'm willing to just have that for the rest of my life. And I could say ice cream or chocolate, but that's, not something you should eat for every meal. Last question. To Miss Sister, before I answer this last question, thank you for submitting out amazing questions to me. I do apologize for having wait this long for the part 2 of this Q&A video, but nice to have this give up chance to be able to record with. So yeah, the last question. If you could meet any U.S. president, living or dead, who would it be? There's only one name in my mind ever since I first read this question. I've got one name, one person, one president I picked, and there's so many good presidents, so many good presidents to pick from. It would have to be Ronald Reagan, because I have a videotape of movie and TV show bloopers back in the 40s and 50s, and I saw him as an actor. What a tremendous talent he was. And then he went on to become president, and no president is perfect. Every president messes up. Every president makes mistakes. Every president is imperfect. Okay? So I'm not saying he's some perfect person, but I have great respect and admiration and love for him, for his acting career, for his talent, and for his wisdom and the way that he was, the kind of president that he was. Again, no one is without fault. We all mess up, make mistakes, and presidents were the same way. But it would have to be Ronald Reagan. I just adored him and his wife, and I would pick him. It would have to be him. And I believe that's the last question. Let me make sure though. Hang on 1 second and make sure that's the last question. That's the last question. Okay, so this is the end of this Q&A video part 2. And again, I want to issue a sincere apology to the 2 Michigan sisters for it taking me this long to make the video. But it's finally been made now. I hope you guys like my answers that I submitted. And so I'm going to go ahead and go. The link to part 1 of this Q&A is going to be in the description box below. Okay, so if you want to see the first half of the Q&A, you can go down there and click that link, and it'll take you right to the part 1 of the Q&A. So I hope you guys like this, and if you want to submit me more questions for another Q&A, do so below, and I will schedule a time for another Q&A video if you want to ask me any more questions. So, and I'm not one of those people that gets frustrated if I get the same question over and over and over. I'm not that way. I'll answer the same question 50 times. So, if you can't think of a new question, if you're like, man, all the questions I think I should have already answered before, well, that's okay. Ask them again. I'll answer them again. So, if you want, there's no pressure to do a Q&A video, but if you have some questions you'd like me to answer in my next Q&A video, comment those below. And thanks for watching. And to my sisters, thank you for all the amazing questions. You guys don't, your questions are easy to just, I learned that in part 1. You can't answer the questions just off the top of your head. You have to really think about the questions and think about what your answer is really going to be. So, hope you guys are happy with all my answers. I'm going to go ahead and go. And if you're interested, again, part 1 below, and comment below if you have a question for the next Q&A. And until next time, this is me, Dollar the King. Peace out, guys. I love you all. Mwah. Bye.